Making inferences. When we're talking about the word inferences, or sometimes it will say inferencing, or what can you infer, we are talking not just about a guess, but something that you think is true or you think is going to happen based on evidence that you've actually had. Well, you just watched the short film Piper, and I'm going to make an inference about that film. I think that Piper was hungry. She didn't say she was hungry, but I have evidence to make me think that. What I saw when I was looking at that video, at one point, Piper looked at her belly and it started to rumble. Another thing I noticed was that Piper looked up at her mom and she opened her mouth really big, hoping that her mother would put something in there. Those are things that I actually saw happen. That's why it's considered my evidence. If I were reading it in a book, the book might tell me Piper looked at her belly and it started to rumble. Piper opened her mouth. That's my evidence. Now look at this lovely word here, schema. Schema just means your background knowledge. It's things inside your brain that you already know. It doesn't necessarily have to do with the book you're reading or the show you're watching. It's things you've learned in life. So one thing I know personally in my brain, when I'm hungry, my stomach starts to growl. And so that's my schema. It's my background knowledge about me. So if you'll notice, my inference, Piper was hungry. I take that text evidence, the things I saw, plus what I already know, and that's how I figured that out. So let's think about something else that happened in that video. I think that at the beginning of the story, I think Piper was scared of the water. Again, it never said she's scared. I am using my clues or my evidence to figure that out. So if I go over here and I say, okay, what was my evidence in that show? Well, when the water started to come at her the second time, what did she do? She ran, okay? You could see that her eyes were really big. That's the things I saw. Oh, let's put eyes here. Now, if I go, okay, well, what's my schema? What's my background knowledge? When I'm afraid of things or when people are afraid, they sometimes run away. You want to run away from what you're afraid of, and she ran away from the water. So my inference that Piper was scared of the water. I have to take my evidence, the things I saw, plus my schema, the things that I already knew in my head, and that's how I get my inference. Okay, now I'm going to do one more, but this time I'm going to think back to Shiloh. You guys have been listening to Shiloh, and there was one part in the book that it actually said, I must have walked, this is Marty, 5 miles and found 7 cans. Oh, I'm sorry, that was the text evidence. Let me move that over because that's something I actually saw. So that would not technically be my inference. That would be my text evidence. So let's move that right over here. Now, from this text evidence, I'm going to say, what can I infer? What's my inference? Well, you know what I think about Mr. Marty? Marty is in shape. It did not tell me he's in shape, but I'm going to use this text evidence of walking 5 miles. Something that I know, my schema, people that are out of shape can't usually go 5 miles. So that's how I came up with this inference that Marty is in shape. Now, what I would like for you guys to do is you're going to watch the next short film, The Birds, and I want you to come up with your own inference, okay? Make sure that yours looks like mine. I want you to have your inference. Tell me, what did you actually see in the video? That's your evidence. And then your schema. What's your background knowledge?